A very good evening and welcome to Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Today is the 1st of April 2024. For the Newsfirst team, I am Jaimal Ratnayaka.
And I'm Dithmini De Silva. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Injunction prevents removal of Duminda, Lasanta and Amaravira from SLFP positions. Parliament unearths 80 billion profit windfall by bee onion importers. Sri Lanka contributes $1 million to Gaza Children's Fund. Police apologize to 3 detained in Easter Sunday attacks investigation for 6 months. Gas prices drop.
Wins the election.
Tonight's top story, Duminda Disanayaka, Lasanta Alagewanna and Mahinda Amaravira, who were previously ousted from their party positions, made a return to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party headquarters today following an interim order issued by the court. The 3 MPs had lodged a petition with the Colombo District Court seeking redress. District Judge Sandun Vitana granted their plea, issuing an interim order that bars their removal from the party positions until the 8th of April.
වාරණ නියෝගයක් කරන්නේද?
කරුණු ඒගොල්ලන් ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඔව්. ඊපස්සේ බලමු. මේ අපේ දුමින්ද ඇමතුමා එනවා දැන්.
ඔව් නේ එනවනේ. පිළිගන්න දාවේ. පිළිගන්න ආවේ.
Thereafter, the group addressed reporters from within the SLFP headquarters.
The main reason for us to seek relief from the court is not for the purpose of securing our positions. We cannot allow for the party to fall any further, as it has fallen from 140 MPs to 2. Therefore, we went to court in order to protect the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. We request Party Leader Maithripala Sirisena to cast aside all differences and to work as a team so that we can fulfill the responsibilities aspired for by the nation. A handful of party organisers have told Maithripala Sirisena to contest the presidential polls and that he can win. They claimed that he should be president and that he is internationally recognised. There is no such thing. We need to understand the reality. Therefore, if we love and care for a leader, we must tell him the truth. We cannot input wrong opinions simply because we want to protect the leadership. That is an insult.
Wins the election.
Is the SLPP now ready for the presidential election?
Everyone says that this government lacks a people's mandate and therefore whatever the government does is illegal. That is why as a party we clearly requested for a general election. We requested for a general election so that we can understand the opinion of the people of the country. We believe that the SLPP is currently reorganizing the party at the village level to face any upcoming election. The presidential election is not yet announced. We as a party will decide who our presidential candidate will be once the elections are announced. If the party decides that SLPP's presidential candidate will be Nama Rajapaksa, so be it. It won't change. Our party has allowed everyone to take that decision by respecting each other's individual decisions. SLPP's presidential candidate will be decided in the future based on that decision.
The leaders of various coalition parties within the Samagi Jana Balawegya indicate that they are still deliberating on the composition of the alliance for the forthcoming elections. During a press briefing convened in Colombo today, Tamil Progressive Front leader MP Mano Ganesan shared his perspectives on the matter.
The second phase of the Samagi Jana Alliance will take place on the 5th of April. On that day, members of the SLPP and other parties will officially sign and join the Samagi Jana Alliance. We will happily welcome them. However, we, the Tamil Progressive Alliance, will not join them.
The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress recently expressed its views on the upcoming election. SLMC leader MP Rauf Hakim said he was ready to contest the election, be it in alliance or independently.
According to our plan, if a general election is held, the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress will contest the election as an alliance and independently. The final decision will be made by the High Command. Last time too, we contested the election as an alliance and independently, and we will be implementing that plan this time as well.
Leader of the All Ceylon Makkal Congress, MP Rishad Badiuddin, said he will announce the candidate his party supports following the official announcement of the election.
Following the announcement of the election, the party will decide on the candidate we support. Even if a general election is held, we will contest some districts independently. In other districts, we will contest as an alliance. If the need arises, we will contest in all districts independently under our party's banner.
The government of Sri Lanka donated $1 million to assist children impacted by the conflicts in the Gaza Strip.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe personally presented the donation check to Zuhair M.H. Zaid, the Palestinian ambassador in Sri Lanka. In response to the president's call to allocate funds from ministries and government institutions for this cause, the initial $1 million donated to the fund has been transferred to the Palestinian government in the first phase. Furthermore, in response to the president's call to support the Children of Gaza Fund, over 20 million rupees has been contributed. These funds are scheduled to be formally transferred to the Palestinian government in the coming days.
Those with aspirations and ambitions don't just cry from joy or sadness. They shed tears for the journey, the effort it takes to make ends meet. When shall the tales of those enduring lives fraught with hardship reach the ears of humanity?
Kosala Nuwan Kumara Jayaratna, a resident of the remote village of Katupatwava in Notchiagama, finds himself in a relentless struggle. To strive for victory is to gamble with life and the very earth itself. Yet, amidst this endeavour, troubles mount, exacerbated by the relentless presence of wild elephants. Their intrusion wreaks havoc, breaking into Kosala's home and devouring 12 sacks, while also causing damage to the tractors that once lent Kosala strength in his agricultural pursuits. Kosala's children used this as a bed to sleep on.
අපේ ජීවිතාන තුලේ තියෙන මගේ ළමයි දෙන්නයි තඩි දාගත්තා නම් මට අද ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් නෑ. මට කිසි දෙයකින් වැඩක් නෑ.
How many more villagers share this struggle across Sri Lanka? How widespread are these silent struggles? Who will lend an ear to listen to their woes?
අපි කතා කරන වනජීවකට කතා කරන වනජීවකෙන් එනකොට කොහම හරි විනාඩි 20ක් පරක් වෙනකොට වනජීවකෙන් මගෙන් ඇවිල්ලා අහනවා අලියා කොයිද කියලා මහත්තයා මං අලියා ගස් බඳලා තියාගන්න නෙවෙයි දැන් මේකට අපිට මොකක් හරි සාධාරණ විසඳුමක් හොයලා දෙන්න කියලා තමයි අපි කියන්නේ.
From the realities on the ground, we move to news from Parliament. Today, startling revelations surfaced in Parliament regarding the exorbitant profits reaped by a select few businessmen who imported bee onions over the past year. Shockingly, it has come to light that these individuals have amassed profits exceeding 80 billion rupees.
This was revealed in the second report prepared by the Committee on Ways and Means. Up next is our special segment, Teardrops and Profit.
Opposition MP Partli Champika Ranawaka, who chairs the Committee on Ways and Means, delivered a significant update to the Parliament by presenting the second report committee. This report has unveiled startling revelations concerning the substantial profits amassed by businessmen involved in the importation of essential commodities such as bee onions, potatoes, dried sprats, moldy fish and mung beans over the past 2 years.
A kilogram of bee onions that reach the port of Colombo for 92 rupees are sold in Olgudawata for 365 rupees. When it reaches the market in Mipe, the price is 500 rupees. At the retail shop, the price goes up to 700 rupees. The bee onion importers and the businessmen have made 80 billion rupees in profits. That means an unlawful profit of 4,000 rupees from every single citizen. They made 15 billion rupees from potatoes, another 15 billion from dried sprats as unlawful profits. How they paid their taxes? If not, where are these proceeds? The Parliament must look into this.
What revelations were made by the report prepared by the Committee on Ways and Means? Bee onions. In 2022, considering insurance, freight charges and import taxes, A kilogram of bee onions, originally priced at 103 rupees upon unloading from the port, fetched a selling price of 213 rupees in the Colombo market. This translated to a substantial profit of 109 rupees per kilogram, representing a remarkable profit margin exceeding 105%. Similarly, in 2023, selling bee onions at 92 rupees per kilogram from the port and subsequently selling them for 365 rupees in the market resulted in an impressive profit of 273 rupees per kilogram. This staggering profit margin surpassed 297%. Potatoes. As per the findings of the second report of the Committee on Ways and Means, significant profits have been recorded in the potato trade. In 2022, potatoes acquired at 96 rupees per kilogram upon landing at the port were later sold for 215 rupees per kilogram in the Colombo market, yielding a substantial profit of 119 rupees per kilogram. This equates to a remarkable 124%. Moving into 2023, the profit margin slightly decreased, with each kilogram of potatoes fetching a profit of 93 rupees. Dried sprats. In 2022, dried sprats procured at 520 rupees per kilogram upon arrival at the port commanded a selling price of 1,541 rupees in the bustling Colombo market. This resulted in numerous businessmen securing a profit of 1,021 rupees per kilogram. Similarly, in 2023, dried sprats acquired at 496 rupees per kilogram at the port were subsequently sold for 1,307 rupees and 50 cents, yielding a profit of 811 rupees and 50 cents per kilogram. This notable profit margin reflects a gain of 164%. Mung beans. In 2022, a profit margin of 520 rupees per kilogram of mung beans was achieved. Subsequently in 2023, the profit margin increased significantly to 848 rupees per kilogram. Maldive fish. According to the report from the Committee on Ways and Means, in 2022, the substantial profit of 2,067 rupees per kilogram was garnered from Maldive fish. This profit was realized by selling 1 kilogram of Maldive fish procured at 903 rupees upon arrival at the port for 2,970 rupees in the Colombo market. Similarly, in 2023, a profit of 2,319 rupees per kilogram was earned from Maldive fish. If the primary objective of a business is to generate profit, then what is the flaw with achieving this profit? The Committee on Ways and Means highlights the significant profits amassed by various individuals from these commodities. The committee's report underscores a considerable disparity between the costs incurred per kilogram at the point of unloading from the port and the subsequent selling price in the market. This disparity encompasses various factors such as the special commodity levy, insurance and freight charges. Based on this observed gap, profits ranging from 100 to 1,000 rupees have been recorded. Yet consumers have not experienced any corresponding benefits from the decrease in the value of the dollar during the last quarter of 2023. Did the government's tax revenue increase?
On the 1st of January, VAT was increased to generate a revenue of 600 billion rupees. However, 1,000 billion rupees is marked by the Inland Revenue Department as uncollected tax. No action was taken. For over a year, we've informed about the legal, technical and other challenges, and yet the Finance Ministry nor the Inland Revenue Department have responded positively. Around 4,479 individuals have evaded paying over 10 million rupees in individual taxes. For the whole of 2023, less than 500,000 tax files were opened. There are over 16 million who are over the age of 18. At this rate, it would take 32 years to open tax files for all of them. You enrage the over 200,000 professionals and increase taxes. While collecting 44 billion rupees, you lost 70 billion rupees. If the customs was streamlined to the level of other nations, we will not have a foreign exchange shortage. We uncovered the loss of around $4 billion in this.
Teardrops and profit.
Newsfirst with the people.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa was critical in Parliament today, questioning the authorities over the failure to conduct a comprehensive probe into the Easter Sunday attacks and reveal details to the public.
I must say that certain details of the Easter Sunday attacks are still being concealed from even MPs. Moreover, certain figures are making controversial statements at present because names of so-called masterminds have been revealed based on insufficient evidence. The Commission has generated multiple reports and recommendations, but those recommendations are not being executed. Why is that? The incumbent president clearly said an investigation will be conducted with an international agency. Where is that probe? One thing must be added to what the opposition leader said. That is, was the bomb in Dehiwala set off by the son of a person who used to be a supporter of the JVP? Do not make this a laughing matter. Kindly support me to present this question to the House. Why had intelligence units travelled to the House prior to the bomb being set off? Presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa benefited the most through this attack. But the moment he became president, 31 CID officers were transferred. Another former president has made a very clear statement. According to that, please tell us who the mastermind is. We need a response to this question today and right now. The government is not committed to answer today itself. Even under Standing Order 27-2, when a question is posed, a reasonable period of time is required to analyze how complicated the question is and answer with relevant statistics. Why can't you answer? The incumbent president promised an international investigation. Why is it not being initiated? The opposition leader was in the cabinet when the attacks took place. We were not there. Therefore, you could have prevented it. Minister Susil brought this debate to an important place. We were in the government when this attack took place. When we were in power, all of you in the opposition asked the people for their mandate to bring the perpetrators before the law. It has been 5 years since you made that promise to 22 million people. You do not have the right to take more time. 12 questions of the set of questions cannot be answered by me. It must be answered by the Ministry of Public Security. The ministry has said in writing that it will provide answers and for time to be provided. The leader of the House said the statement made by Maithripala Sirisena was sub judice. There is no such thing. This is new information. It has not gone to court. The truth needs to be revealed. As the Minister of Justice, I must state that neither the Ministry of Justice, Aegis Department nor the courts have the power to probe it. The police has the authority to conduct investigations. When the former president made this serious statement, many started slamming him. But I said that there is a hidden intention behind it. He now says that India supported it, that our neighbouring country is involved. That is a concerning matter. Who assisted India in this attack? Who is that mastermind? That is the question we constantly ask. He pointed a finger at India. Therefore, we must ask. You were the Minister of Defence at that time. Visit the Parliament and tell us who the mastermind is. If India did it, who collaborated with India from Sri Lanka? We need to know that.
5 police officers, including the Horopatana Police OIC, offered a traditional Sinhala-style apology at the Supreme Court during the proceedings concerning the release of 3 individuals from the Horopatana area who were arrested and detained on suspicion of being involved in the Easter Sunday terror attacks. The Supreme Court convened to hear the fundamental rights petitions filed by Zainul Abdin Irfan, Zainul Abdin Khalifatullah, and Noor Zakaria. These petitions alleged that their fundamental rights were infringed upon due to the unlawful arrest and detention for a period exceeding 6 months. During the hearing, the Deputy Solicitor General, representing the concerned police officers, assured the court that there would be no further interrogation of the individuals regarding the incident. The petitions were brought before a bench comprising Justices S. Thurai Raja, Kumuduni Wickramasinghe and Achula Vengapulli.
The Health Trade Union Alliance announced a 4-hour withdrawal from services at 10 hospitals starting at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. This action comes in response to a lack of discussion on their demands. The members of 72 health trade unions have decided to engage in a token strike for 4 hours starting from 6:30 a.m. today, demanding economic justice.
Several hospitals, including Kandy National Hospital, Kurunegala Teaching Hospital, Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital, Ratnapura Teaching Hospital and Badulla Hospital engaged in a strike for 4 hours today. Union members, including public health inspectors, laboratory technicians, pharmacists and radiologists engaged in the strike. Some operations at the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital were hampered this morning. A protest was held opposite Kurunegala Teaching Hospital this afternoon in line with the strike.
If the Finance Ministry Secretary can approve a large salary increase for the central bank governor and the other staff, why can't they address the suffering of healthcare workers? If our concerns are not addressed today, we will be forced to strike tomorrow.
Staff at the Kandy National Hospital also engaged in the strike today. During the strike, the medical staff also engaged in a protest at the hospital premises. At the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital, staff, except for doctors and nurses, engaged in the strike. Following the strike, medical staff at the hospital also held a protest. In line with today's strike, a protest was held this afternoon opposite the Ministry of Health. Protests were also held opposite the Karapite Teaching Hospital, Badulla Teaching Hospital and Polonnaruwa General Hospital.
The United States National Transportation Safety Board said that the cargo ship that caused a bridge in Baltimore to collapse was carrying hazardous materials.
The National Transportation Safety Board Chair, Jennifer Homendy, said there are 56 containers aboard containing hazardous materials, including corrosives, flammables and lithium-ion batteries. She said some containers were breached and a sheen was identified in the water that will be dealt with by authorities.
So we were able to confirm that there were 21 crew members on board the vessel at the time of this accident, plus 2 pilots. That's 21 crew members plus 2 pilots for a total of 23 individuals on board the vessel at the time of the accident. They also were able to obtain the cargo manifest. Now, the cargo manifest, we did bring in one of NTSB's senior hazmat investigators today to begin to look at the cargo and the cargo manifest. He was able to identify 56 containers of hazardous materials. That's 764 tons of hazardous materials, mostly corrosives, flammables, and some miscellaneous hazardous materials, Class 9 hazardous materials, which would include lithium-ion batteries. Some of the hazmat containers were breached. We have seen sheen on the waterway. The federal, state, and local authorities are aware of that, and they will be in charge of addressing those issues. But the NTSB, as part of our safety investigation, documents that type of release, documents the damage, and documents the type of materials involved as part of our investigation.
Class 9 hazardous materials describes any miscellaneous hazardous materials that, quote-unquote, presents a hazard during transportation but doesn't fall under any other hazard class. Common examples of materials that fall under the Class 9 miscellaneous hazard are automobile airbags, battery-powered vehicles, cotton and plastic molding compound. Class 9 miscellaneous hazardous materials present a wide variety of potential hazards and risks to human health and safety and the environment. Homendy said the investigation could take 12 to 24 months, but that the NTSB will not hesitate to issue urgent safety recommendations during that time. She said a preliminary report should be released in 2 to 4 weeks. The ship was headed from Baltimore to Sri Lanka, is owned by Grace Ocean Private Limited, and Maersk said it had chartered it. The same vessel that hit the Baltimore Francis Scott Key Bridge, destroying it and sending people and vehicles tumbling into the water, was also involved in a collision while leaving the port of Antwerp, Belgium in 2016. The Dali, a 948-foot cargo ship with a capacity of 10,000 containers, was leaving the container terminal of Antwerp heading to Bremerhaven. As it did so, its bow reportedly swung around, causing the stern to scrape the side of the quay, significantly damaging several meters of the hull. The ship was reportedly detained by authorities afterward and docked in Gangtok, Belgium. There were reportedly no injuries or adverse pollution. According to Vessel Finder, the weather was fine at the time and the incident was reportedly blamed on the ship's master and pilot on board. Inquiries were made with the Colombo Port Authority to shed light on its operations. The Colombo Port Authority clarified that the port has long served as a crucial transshipment hub, facilitating the movement of goods between various regions. Notably, ships unable to access smaller ports, particularly in the South African region, often utilize the facilities at the Port of Colombo to streamline operations and reduce costs. According to port authorities, goods arriving at the Colombo port are subsequently dispatched to neighboring countries via smaller vessels, ensuring efficient distribution across the region. Addressing safety protocols, the Colombo port emphasized that hazardous materials are handled in strict accordance with prescribed standards on a daily basis. Ships carrying such dangerous goods are required to provide detailed cargo information to the port at least 48 hours in advance of arrival.
සෞඛ්‍ය කොටසක්. ඉතින් ඇයි ඔබ ඔබේ පවුලේ අයගෙන් හංගන්නේ? ඊවා විශ්වාසයෙන් පෙරමුණේ.
Litro and Laf's Gas have decided to reduce gas prices effective midnight tonight. Litro has reduced the price of its 12.5 kilogram cylinder by 135 rupees, while Laf's Gas has reduced the price of its 12.5 kilogram cylinder by 625 rupees. With this price revision, the price of the 12.5 kg domestic cylinder of the two companies will be the same.
Litro Gas reduced the price of a 12.5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder by 135 rupees effective midnight today, and the revised price is 4,115 rupees. The old price was 4,250 rupees. The price of the 5 kilogram cylinder was reduced by 55 rupees, while the 2.3 kilogram cylinder was reduced by 23 rupees.
With the dollar depreciating against the rupee and the rupee strengthening, we decided that although the company incurred several losses in the past, we will give the benefit entirely to the consumers without covering our losses, to provide some relief to the people with the Sinhala and Tamil New Year just around the corner. We believe the prices will reduce further by May or June.
වෙනකොටත් අපි යම් තාක් දුරකට මීටත් වැඩිය සුබදායි විදියට මිල තවදුරටත් අඩු වෙයි කියලා අපි හිතනවා.
Laf's Gas PLC also reduced prices in line with the Litro Gas price revision. Laf's Gas reduced the 12.5 kilogram gas cylinder by 625 rupees effective midnight today. The revised price is 4,115 rupees. The 5 kilogram cylinder was reduced by 248 rupees and will be sold at 1,652 rupees.
අපිට ඇත්තටම resources නැත්තම් සම්පත් සම්භාරයක් තියෙනවා. පළවෙනියෙන්ම Laf's Gas ආයතනයට තියෙනවා ලෝකේ ආසියාවේ.
We have many resources. Laf's Gas has a large terminal in Asia at the Haman terminal. We can store up to 30,000 metric tons. We also have our own ships. Additionally, we have a trading house located in Dubai. That is where we bring gas to Sri Lanka from. When all of this comes together, we are able to provide gas at the most affordable rates to consumers. Over the past 5 to 6 months, the economy has shown a rapid positive growth and interest rates have dropped sharply. With this situation, as a responsible organization, we decided to grant the massive price reduction to customers.
ඒ වගේ තියෙන අවස්ථාවක අපි වගකීමක් දැරිය හැකි ආයතනයක් හැටියට වගකිව යුතු ආයතනයක් හැටියට අපි තීරණය කරා මේ දැවැන්ත මිල අඩු කිරීම පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට ලබා දෙන්න.
According to the monthly price revision, a litre of 95 octane petrol, which was 447 rupees, was reduced by 7 rupees from midnight yesterday. The revised price is 440 rupees per litre. A litre of Lanka super diesel was reduced by 72 rupees and the new price is 386 rupees. The price of a litre of kerosene was also reduced by 12 rupees and the revised price is 245 rupees. However, the price of 92-octane petrol and Lanka auto diesel remains unchanged. Sinopec and Lanka IOC also revised fuel prices. Three-wheel associations responded to the fuel price revision today.
Regardless of the pricing formula and the global situation, it is clear that those using super diesel were the most affected in Sri Lanka. It was reduced by 72 rupees without a loss. However, the price of diesel, which is used daily for passenger transport, has not been revised. Regardless of the formula, they will have to manage somehow. But the upper class is facing the greatest difficulty, therefore it has been reduced.
This is a response of the school transport service providers.
Today is the 1st of April and everyone has been fooled. Only super diesel was reduced by 70 rupees for community service. Super diesel is used for V8s. We use auto diesel. That should be reduced if they are trying to provide relief to the public. They reduced the price of super diesel to go around the country for elections. You cannot fool the people. This does not provide any relief to the common man. We will show the results at the upcoming election.
Posting on X, Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara said refinery cost has an impact on auto diesel, 92-octane petrol and kerosene, adding that VAT is applicable for refinery products as well from the 1st of January. Minister Wijesekara said refinery gains and losses are calculated on the above products, adding that refinery does not produce a super diesel on 95 petrol. The minister said the formula allows for maximum profit margin of 4% on all products. He said auto diesel and 92-octane petrol full profit margins are not applied to maintain prices, adding that if a full 4% profit margin is applied, a price increase was due on auto diesel and 92-octane petrol. The minister said profit margins are not applied for kerosene. However, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said another product's gain or losses cannot be passed on to any other product, adding that cost-reflective pricing formula applies individually to each product.
2 writ applications challenging a recent cabinet decision to implement a centralized SMS firewall intended to monitor, regulate and even block the distribution of SMS messages from an application to a person as being a serious violation of the privacy and personal freedoms of the citizens were taken up before the Court of Appeal this morning. It was taken up before Court of Appeal Justices Sobhita Rajakaruna and Dhammika Ganepula.
A petition was filed by MTV Channel Private Limited and another separate petition has also been filed by a civil society activist Lasil De Silva on the same. The petitioners allege that no tender process was followed in selecting an unsolicited proposal submitted by a foreign company named Infobip to establish this centralized firewall system. Deputy Solicitor General Nirmalan Vigneshwaran, appearing for the Cabinet of Ministers, informed court that this matter is now before a subcommittee of Cabinet of Ministers and that they are in the process of reviewing the necessity for such firewall system, adding that the said subcommittee will invite all stakeholders, including the petitioners in the 2 separate writ applications, to make their representations before any decisions are taken. President's Counsel Sanjeeva Jayawardena, who appeared for MTV Channel Private Limited, informed court that whilst he is thankful to the Deputy Solicitor General for this intervention, he nevertheless wants to formally place on record that if this purported centralized firewall system is implemented, it will have an irreparably damaging effect on the private rights of the entire citizenry of Sri Lanka, as it would be a very serious encroachment on the rights of the citizens of Sri Lanka. He also submitted to court that Infobip is a completely foreign company and all data, including confidential data, will be in the possession of this alien foreign company, which has an effect of causing serious repercussions to corporate as well as individual citizens. The petitions will be called again on the 31st of March 2024 to assess the progress on the matter. President's Counsel Sanjeeva Jayawardena with Lakmini Varusavithana Rukshan Senadira appeared for MTV Channel Private Limited, instructed by Attorney-at-Law Sanjeeva Amila Kumara.
Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has slammed the Congress and ruling DMK over the Katchathivu island issue, saying ceding it to Sri Lanka resulted in the seizure, detention or apprehension of a large number of Indian fishermen and fishing vessels by the island nation.
India and Sri Lanka in June 1974, concluded an agreement where they drew their maritime boundary. And in drawing the maritime boundary, Kachativu was put on the Sri Lankan side of the boundary. This agreement of 1974 had three other clauses. One clause which said that each country shall have sovereignty and exclusive jurisdiction and control over the waters. The second clause gave to Indian fishermen that they will continue to access Kachativu as hitherto and will not be required to obtain travel documents. And the third one, that the vessels of India and Sri Lanka will enjoy in each other's waters such rights that they have traditionally enjoyed. Now, in less than 2 years, there was another agreement between India and Sri Lanka through an exchange of letters. With the establishment of the exclusive economic zones by the two countries, India and Sri Lanka will exercise sovereign rights over the living and non-living resources of their respective zone. The fishing vessels and fishermen of India shall not engage in fishing in the historic waters, the territorial sea, and the exclusive zone of Sri Lanka. So, 1974 assurance is given. By 1976, an agreement is concluded which actually gives away this assurance. So what has happened? What has been the consequence of this? In the last 20 years, 6,184 Indian fishermen have been detained by Sri Lanka. 6,000. And in the same period, 1,175 fishing vessels, Indian fishing vessels, have been seized, detained, apprehended by the Sri Lankans. So this is really today the background. So please understand, this is not an issue which has suddenly surfaced. This is a live issue. It is an issue which has been very much debated in Parliament, in Tamil Nadu circles as well. Now, every political party in Tamil Nadu has taken a position on this, the Kachativu issue and the fishermen issue. Two parties, the Congress and the DMK, have approached this matter as though they have no responsibility for it, as though the situation is for central government, today's central government, for them to resolve.
Meanwhile, the second part of the documents obtained by BJP Tamil Nadu President K. Annamalai under the Right to Information Act regarding the Kachativu issue was released today. It indicated that the Dravida Munhetra Kalaham had approved the agreement despite public comments against it. It is mentioned in the document that on 23rd of July 1974, the DMK staged a walkout from Parliament on the Kachativu issue. It is also indicated in the document that the then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Karunanidhi, knew about the Kachativu agreement a month before. After the second part of the document obtained under the Right to Information Act was leaked, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi today again made allegations on X. He said the DMK has done nothing to safeguard Tamil Nadu's interests, adding that new details emerging on Kachativu have unmasked the DMK's double standards. He added that Congress and DMK are family units and that they only care that their own sons and daughters' rights. He noted that the callousness on the part of Congress and DMK on Kachativu has harmed the interest of Indian fishermen and fisherwomen.
A delegation from the Thai Prime Minister's office engaged on fact-finding mission at the Haman International Port.
A delegation from the Thai Prime Minister's office visited the Haman International Port to explore opportunities and understand how the port operates under the public-private partnership between the government of Sri Lanka and CM Port. A detailed presentation covering the port's facilities, current and potential business opportunities and future plans was made to the delegates. The presentation showcased 6 key areas Haman International Port focuses on: South Asia Energy Service Centre, South Asia RO Transfer Centre, Maritime Service Centre, Industrial Park, Container Transfer Centre and Sri Lanka Bulk Cargo Distribution Centre. The port's plans to commence its first phase of container operations was also discussed.
The 52nd commemoration ceremony of the late Philip Guruvardhana, a pioneer in the establishment of the socialist movement in Sri Lanka, took place at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute in Colombo. Professor Ranil Sinanayaka, an ecosystem scientist, delivered the keynote speech titled Environment and Development.
In Sri Lanka, during the last 5 years, there has been, and the world at large, a huge drive for carbon, the carbon economy, because we are in the middle of climate change. We have been told that you can lock the carbon up, you have all heard about this, to go carbon neutral by planting trees. Let me tell you something, it's a myth. That doesn't exist. Why? Because the carbon that we pull from the ground to burn as petroleum is 200 million years old. You cannot plant a tree which lives for 1,000 years and say, oh, it's going to soak it all up. That's cheating. That's laundering, like money laundering. Yet today, there's an incredibly large business the world over. It's a cheat. And we are almost getting caught to that cheat. Well, we looked at this as scientists, we looked at this as Sri Lankans, and we said, wait, tree planting is good. Then why should we cheat in this manner? There must be another way. And here is the new way forward. That is, when you burn carbon dioxide from the ground to make CO2, 2 molecules of oxygen are needed to burn this. The carbon you can never put away for 200 million years, but the oxygen we can produce in 6 months. Today, the oxygen budget of the world is compromised. We've got rocketry, we've got airplanes, we've got industry. Everybody is mining our commonwealth, our atmosphere, for the oxygen. Nobody is putting one molecule back.
In news from overseas, Turkey's Imamoglu secured a second municipal term in Istanbul after a vote that dealt a major blow to Erdogan. Tens of thousands of Israelis have thronged central Jerusalem in the largest protest since Israel's war on Gaza broke out in October.
The Israeli military has withdrawn from Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital after a 2-week raid, leaving behind a trail of destruction. We're crossing over to Thinal and Mariam for a comprehensive report on these stories on The World Today.
Turkey's main opposition party has claimed big election victories in the main cities of Istanbul and Ankara.
The results are a significant blow for Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who had hoped to regain control of the cities less than a year after he claimed a third term as president.
And then he led the campaign to win Istanbul, where he grew up and became mayor. But Ekrem Imamoglu, who first won the city in 2019, scored a second victory for the secular opposition CHP. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
İstanbul 16 milyon kazandı. 16 milyon İstanbullu kazandı. Kutlu olsun! Kutlu olsun! Bu seçimin kaybedeni yok. Biliyorsunuz değil mi? Millet emir verir, talimat verir. Bir kişi talimat vermez. Yöneticiler milletten talimat alır. Bir kişinin vesayet dönemi bugün itibariyle bitmiştir. Bitmiştir. Cumhuriyet ve demokrasi bugün itibariyle tam yol ileri demiştir.
Erdogan had vowed a new era in Turkey's mega city of almost 16 million people, but the incumbent mayor of Istanbul secured more than 50% of the vote, defeating the president's AK party candidate by more than 11 points and almost 1 million votes.
Marib, this was also the first time since Erdogan came into power 21 years ago that his party was defeated across the country at a ballot box. Now, Mariam, in more news on world elections, tens of thousands of Israelis have thronged central Jerusalem in the largest anti-government protest since the country went to war in October.
And the protesters urged the government to reach a ceasefire deal to free dozens of hostages held in Gaza by Hamas militants and to hold early elections. Israeli society was broadly united immediately after the 7th of October, when Hamas killed around 1,200 people during a cross-border attack and took 250 other hostages.
Foreign media also reports that nearly 6 months of conflict have renewed divisions over the leadership of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, though the country remains largely in favor of the war.
And reports add that Netanyahu has vowed to destroy Hamas and bring all the hostages home, yet those goals have been elusive. While Hamas has suffered heavy losses, it remains intact. And the news coming in on major developments on the Israel-Gaza conflict. Israel's military says it has pulled out of the Al-Shifa hospital in the Gaza city after a 2-week raid that left most of the major medical complexes in ruins.
Now, the Israeli Defense Force says troops had killed and detained hundreds of terrorists and found weapons and intelligence throughout the hospital.
And in Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says they left behind dozens of bodies. The IDF says it raided Al-Shifa because Hamas had regrouped there.
The raid saw intense fighting and Israeli airstrikes in nearby buildings and the surrounding area. The IDF statement says troops had, quote, completed precise operational activity in the area of Al-Shifa hospital and exited the area of the hospital. It added that during the raid, the IDF was preventing harm to civilians, patients and medical teams.
And the IDF says wards were attacked because Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad operatives were using them as a base. And those are all the stories we have for you on the world today. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Mariam Ganavijaya.
And I'm Tinal Tilakaratne. It's back to the studios.
With news from around the world, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I am Jayamal Ratnayaka.
And I'm Dithmini De Silva. Have a pleasant evening and good night.